Mr. Gillen, earlier you talked about China a little bit and the risks that they pose in the space of spectrum. What are the consequences of China taking a lead in making 5G spectrum available to their carriers?
Thank you for the question. As someone with teenagers, I spent my weekend talking about TikTok. And ultimately, the core, that is China exporting technology. You go back to 4G, 3G, that was the US in that position. That's TikTok. Now imagine, extrapolate from that, impacts on manufacturing, on ports, on how we're doing so many other different things. It is that innovation runs to connectivity, it runs to capacity. And so really it is all the things we want to lead in going forward is going to go where the capacity and the connectivity are.
Thank you for that. Chairman Powell, obviously with the internet economy has drastically changed over the last 12 years. Everything is different. The way we communicate is different. The amount of video content and that we absorb is different. The way consumers use wireless technology is vastly different. How might other than, I think we've talked about auctions a lot, and how might our policies change as well, given how the world is changing?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'd recommend to the committee is to keep the consumer at the center of the focus of the policy. How do Americans really use spectrum? What are they most dependent on? I think one of the reasons we celebrate the Wi-Fi story is that the vast majority of Americans' interaction with the internet goes over that infrastructure. We spend 90% of our days indoors. And when we're indoors, we're utilizing those services. If you're watching Netflix tonight, you're on Wi-Fi. Frankly, if you're using your cell phone 80 to 90% of the time, you're also using Wi-Fi, not even the cellular network. It is the sort of workhorse of the entire internet economy. So as you focus and align your spectrum policies, I think just keeping in mind the rapid innovation, the way consumers are evolving. You mentioned 12 years ago, the stuff in my house today, as opposed to 12 years ago that expects to find and utilize my network is stunning compared to 12 years ago.
Thank you for that. Ms. Ronaldo, how does access to spectrum allow innovative companies like those in the Open RAN Policy Coalition to continue to lead on the design of the next generation networks? And as a follow-up, as the spectrum environment gets more congested, could new technologies like AI-driven network management help manage the spectrum issues and lead us to more commercial spectrum on the market?
So I would say that Open RAN is a nascent concept, really first rolled out by Rakuten in Japan in 2017. So we kind of missed the 5G wave. And so as new spectrum bands come online, we're able to build out using Open RAN. I would say other than Dish, who has deployed 20,000+, AT&T has made an investment of $14 billion in Open RAN. We're really focused internationally at this point. So more bands, more Open RAN. And as far as AI, it's been a great story for the telecommunications industry. We can use everything from management of spectrum, energy efficiency, and there's a lot of talk these days, as you can imagine, with concerns around drones. Can we do detection using AI?
Thank you for that. And this is a broader question, I think, for the panel, but it will just go down. What specific actions would you recommend for us as Congress to take? I mean, obviously, we've talked about some of the legal problems, some of the regulatory hurdles, some of the outdated regulations that may exist. What would you share with Congress about ways that we can modernize our system? We'll start with you, sir.
I think we all agree. I hope auction authority is where you start.
Correct.
And I would say make it permanent. Provide the reliability that the FCC has the power to do it, and then how that then impacts band planning in the future.
Auction authority, R&D, and then just working with our allies around the world to deploy safe and secure networks globally.
Okay.
Same. Auction authority with a plan associated with it and permitting reform.
Permitting reform, okay.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think auction authority, improvement in the interagency coordination process with appropriate congressional oversight, and assistance to the administration on developing uniform and single voice policies when we appear at the next WARC in 2027.
Thank you for that. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.